Today I'm diving into an eBay find. The ad went something like this. Mainspring seems okay, but does not tick. Hairspring looks good. I believe the case is brass, or something. Sold as is. What I received is a Waltham 1857 key-wind pocket watch assembled in 1872. The case appears to be of a European design, so perhaps this one is unoriginal, or it was made for the export market. The movement's filthy, and I can already spot some screws missing. As always, part names will be in the upper right corner if you'd like to follow along. The hour and minute hands don't match, and the minute hand has fallen off. It's common for the square hole of the minute hand to become worn and widen over time with repeated use of the key to set the time. The square hole of the minute hand can be closed, but I'd prefer to replace both hands with a matching set. The majority of watch styles have little feet soldered underneath them that stick into the movement. More modern watches use screws or levers that contact the feet to hold them in place. These really old watches have tiny brass pins that blend really well into your carpet when you drop them. The balance cock screw is missing, and I later found out that the threads were completely destroyed. This won't be a simple matter of finding a replacement screw. The screw on this hairspring stud is not missing, but worse, the head is sheared off, leaving the rest of the screw stuck within the main plate. We'll deal with that later. Both staff pivots are broken, and if you look closely, the roller table isn't even seated all the way to the hub. Now, I'll let down the mainspring before going any further. Everything will be disassembled, and I'll address any issues followed by a thorough cleaning of all the parts. This piece of a mainspring is being used as some sort of an improvised shim. Adding a few modest divots to the top plate to slightly fine-tune the height of the balance cock was common practice among some old-timers. However, this one looks like it was mauled by a bear. Thanks to the old sticky oil, the center wheel needed more convincing. Valentine's Day, 1865. Wow, okay. Any more oil and we can make French fries. Onto the balance staff. This little stump allows me to punch the staff end wheel away from the roller table. The K&D staff removal tool helps to remove a riveted staff. It secures the balance wheel while the staff is punched out without deforming the balance arms. I was not able to find the correct replacement for this balance staff, but found one that would almost work. Most of the dimensions are either correct or of no consequence, except the balance seat is too large. The section in red will need to be reduced in size, or the balance wheel won't fit onto the staff. I can accomplish this with the help of the lathe, which I set up in my previous video. Only a few fractions of a millimeter of material need to be removed. Like a glove. The staff is now riveted to the balance arm with a series of taps using a domed-faced punch, and finished with a flat-faced punch. The roller table is now reinstalled with a special punch that has a notch filed into it to fit around the impulse jewel. Finally, I made any necessary adjustments to bring the balance back into poise, which eliminates positional timekeeping errors. To remove the broken screw that is stubbornly stuck in the plate, I will use alum, which one can find in the spice section of most grocery stores. When mixed with warm water, it will dissolve any steel if given enough time. I only plan to soak a specific section of the plate, so I'll remove any steel in that area that I don't want to be eaten by the alum mixture. When kept warm, the mixture can dissolve a small steel screw like this in a couple of hours.
Eventually.
Both holes will be re-threaded. Any remaining threading is drilled out and then a tap is used to form new threads in the holes. The replacement screws can now be made from some steel rods. The die plate is used to form matching threads on the steel rod that was turned down to size. Next, the needle file is used to cut a slot in the screw head. Finally, the head is finished off and then heat treated until it's tempered to a bluish color. With all outstanding issues addressed, I can finally get everything cleaned and reassembled. The capstones of both upper and lower balance jewels are oiled with Mobius 9010. I recently purchased this mainspring winder set to make it easier to reinstall the main springs. This eliminates any chance of introducing deformities caused by hand winding the mainspring. The pallet stones are lightly oiled with Mobius 941, which is a special oil used for escapements. Because of how the fork is situated, it's easier to first place it on the top plate while upside down. It's held there temporarily by a tiny piece of Rodico while the plate is lowered onto the main pillars. All pivots are oiled with Mobius 9010. I was able to find a fresh dial and a new hour and minute hand. For key set watches, the minute hand, since it too is keyed, is temporarily installed and aligned to 12 o'clock before the hour hand is installed. Most antique pocket watches from the late 1800s onwards run at an 18,000 beats per hour rate, which is known as a quick train. However, this one chugs along at a 16,200 rate, though it's still very accurate. This watch is now good to go and will keep great time for at least another lifetime. I hope you learned something from this video today, and if not, I hope you at least found it enjoyable. Thanks for fixing watches with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.